IYT brothers, welcome back. This is Mike Casper, co-founder and chief operating officer of IYT, and I hope you all had a wonderful summer. I hope you're relaxed, recharged, and ready to go after another school year. So welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. This year will be different. The COVID-19 pandemic and the social injustices that have taken place across our nation have disproportionately impacted communities of color. Last year, we've supported our students and families by doing food distribution, meal pickups, stations, emergency grants, and also allowing and applying technology access to students that need either a Chromebook, internet access, what have you. We also launched IYT Virtual to ensure you stayed engaged and connected. We were there for you then, and we most certainly will be here for you now. There is still much more for you to learn as you are in pursuit of greatness, of not only attending college, but graduating college. And just know that we'll be there with you side by side every step of the way. Our team has worked extremely hard in preparing to welcome you back. We have improved our virtual experience, and in addition to that, we have welcomed on our new fellows for this year. The only thing that's missing is you. IYT community and family, thank you for your support. It's because of you that we're able to continue to serve our young people that participate in the program and the communities in which we get the opportunity in serving. You didn't let us down, and be sure that we will not let you down. We're looking forward to another exciting year. Thank you.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
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 We are the scholars of IYT.
We will be honor roll students.
We're college-bound brothers.
We will be college graduates.
We will not quit in the face of any obstacle.
We'll work to improve our community. We are our brother's keeper. We are our brother's keeper.
We believe in each other.
We believe in IYT.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
Welcome. You live? Yep, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to IYT Facebook Live. I have some superstars here with me today. Right, when I'm in the room with these folks, I say LeBron. Who? Let's go around first. Let's just do introductions. Right? Who are we? And then we'll start today's topic, and right, the reason why we're gathering today, right, is to talk about COVID-19, the pandemic, and how it's impacting our young brothers. Also to highlight 7 days of hope, our back to school to campaign to fundraise some dollars for our young brothers to make sure that they come to school and they're in school prepared for success. So I wouldn't start off by a shameless plug. If you haven't already, go to improveyourtomorrow.org and donate to our back to school campaign. From here, let's go around. Let's start with Keelan. And Keelan, you call on the next person, man, to introduce themselves, who they are.
Yes, hello everybody. This is Keelan Newsom, Class 1 of IYT, also Senior Program Manager for IYT at Valley High School and Jackman Middle School. And it's super exciting. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and I'll toss it over to my colleague, Brian.
Are you on mute, Brian?
Oh, thank y'all. Appreciate
Brian got
that.
nervous, y'all.
Hey, everybody. My name is Brian McKenzie. I'm the program manager at Delta Sierra Middle School and McNair High School in Stockton, and I'm also the wellness counselor. New role for me, and just looking forward to a new year, talking to more students and getting more acclimated with our mentor fellows as well. I will pass it to my brother, Jeff Tower.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Tower, Program Manager, IYTCC, IYTU. My responsibility is to make sure that our young men finish the last leg of the journey to graduate from college or to transfer from the community college to a four-year. It is the most unique year we've had. Everybody's virtual, but as we start out strong, we're going to finish strong. And I'll pass it to Jason.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Toletti. I'm the program manager for Franklin High School and Hamilton Middle School. Super excited to get this back to school drive going, and really just getting the kids back into the virtual classroom and providing them with resources and all that good stuff. I'll pass it on to Mr. Chris Moore.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Chris Moore, the director of College Academy and Continue to Dream. Sorry, my video is not up right now. My background is giving me issues, so I'll just be the voice for today. So excited to be here in this space with my squad. My responsibilities are making sure the program managers have everything they need in order for these students we serve, so that they can get all the resources they need.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you folks for logging in and checking us out. We'll start with the first question, and let's start with Brother Jason. How has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your young brothers in the classroom?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously, is really trying to get acclimated to sitting in a virtual space for the entirety of the school day, right? So they're used to moving around at least a little bit from class to class, and now they're stagnant, right? So they're looking at a screen all day for 6 to 8 hours, and really trying to just adjust and maneuver that virtual fatigue and how they can get through the day. And then on top of that, obviously, it's dealing with resources that they may not have, like adequate Wi-Fi or working laptops for Zoom meetings.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. And Jeff, now maybe from the college side, how are your young brothers? How has this virtual COVID pandemic impacted them in the classroom?
Well, first, they didn't sign up. A lot of them didn't sign up for online university. So they expected a certain modality of learning and having to adjust to that. So what we find is that some guys were debating, do I continue on? For certain majors, it was definitely like, can I actually do this where I need the hands-on? But the majority of our guys stuck it out. Like Jason said, it was, how do I manage my time when I have distractions, when I have my roommates, when I have these things, and they don't have access to the social life. For most of our college guys, college is the social life. That's their setting. That's where they exercise. That's where they hang out. And then just the reality of the unknown of how long this will go on. And will I have to graduate this way? Will I have to find an internship this way? Will I have to apply to grad school in this? But to their credit, they've been hanging in there.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And maybe, Keelan, start us off, but how has the pandemic impacted our young brothers outside of the classroom?
Yeah, I think the most important impact, and it kind of piggyback off Jeff's point, is that students are currently lacking their social interaction. Right, we have to realize that students, a vast majority of the actual learning experience is them being around their peers, right, that students learn socially from. And so students are being deprived of their social interaction, which is an integral part of their learning experience. I think another thing is that they're being deprived of their extracurricular activities, right? Students would normally have clubs, students would normally have sports activities, and at this point, students are being deprived of both of those things that they just don't have access to or the opportunity to do. So we see this drastically impacting just students' kind of motivation, right? And so when students don't have things to look forward to, like sports games or practices or any of their extracurricular activities and clubs, students are really having a hard time motivating themselves on a day-to-day basis to do well in the classroom.
Yeah, that's very well said. And Brian, if you can, Brian or Keelan, maybe you could share a story. Start with Brian, like about a brother who, if you don't have a story, that's fine. But what are you're in Stockton, a place that has a bunch of different channels, but also like a resilient folks. And shameless plug to Stockton. I'm from Stockton. Shout out to the 209. But yeah, Brian, how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your brothers outside of the classroom?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a student who is currently a senior right now, and we got a few Division II like football scholarship offers last year, and he was really buckling down on his academics. We set up a plan in the spring for him to get a 3.25, and he exceeded that and got a 3.5. So we were really just encouraged, and I was encouraged, and he was, with that ability to turn things around. And obviously with the school year coming up at that time, which was February, he really wanted the opportunity to have another year of football under his belt, coupled with the academics that he was really excelling in. But with COVID, plans obviously took a turn for the worse. In regards to him being able to play, he won't be able to showcase himself until January. However, he has been going to football camps, continuing to be diligent in the classroom, and really, as you talked about, like just his resiliency piece, like that's really what's going to propel us and the students that we work with to kind of make it through this. We don't know the timeline, right? You know, we don't know when it's going to end, so being able to take it one day at a time, which is often very difficult, we have to continue to really like focus on one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, just those small moments, because we don't know, and that unknown is scary, and fear is a real thing. So we just got to continue to lean on each other and continue building a community.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
and I'll piggyback off Brian. I have a story. Student, we were dropping off one of our food deliveries we did recently. We delivered burritos to some of our brothers around the community. And in my interaction with the students, I came across one of my students that just entered their sophomore year of high school and was very active in sports last year, played on both the football and basketball team. And so I'm having a conversation with this brother, and I find out he really hasn't been really focused on school, and has found himself getting involved in different things within his community and in the streets that he really shouldn't be doing. And I asked him why he found himself doing those things, and he said it really wasn't anything else to do. He didn't have sports. He didn't have, football conditioning would have been keeping him occupied and would have given him something to do at this point. But at this point, right, he said he found himself trying to find things to do in his community. And it speaks to lack of resources right within the communities, but also the fact that he doesn't have many outlets right now.
Yeah, very well. Man, football is one of the main reasons why I went to school. If I didn't have football, I don't know if I would go to school. And Chris, maybe you can talk about some of the inequities you're seeing. We know that COVID-19 pandemic has hit like brown and black and community of colors communities harder. Chris, maybe you can talk about some of the inequities you're seeing.
Let me process that one, Lynch, because there's a lot of inequities out there. Process that one for a bit.
Open that one up for the group. Maybe someone can throw Chris an alley-oop.
Yeah, I'll say just right off that, what we've seen, particularly over the course of just from the first transition into distance learning, is another story. Is that I had a student who was a seventh grader at one of our middle schools, and for whatever reason, his family wasn't even made aware of the distance learning plan, this lack of communication breakdown, and whatever it may be, but they weren't aware of the distance learning platform, and on top of that, they didn't have the Wi-Fi or the information about how schools were distributing the laptops, and so it was just a simple breakdown of the fact that they didn't have reliable communication and transportation to be able to get access right to the school and the resources that the schools were providing and the information that was being provided, but they didn't have legitimate means of doing so. And so young student of color, right, spent the first week of distance learning, right, simply not being engaged at all. And so fortunately, our team stepped in and helped facilitate the interactions and getting them the information. But that's just one of the things that we see right off from the start that is really impacting our students.
Yeah, very well said. I'm gonna kick it back to Chris now, give him another opportunity to redeem himself. But Chris, right? So the next question is, how is IYT addressing the needs of our young brothers during this pandemic, racial injustice continuation?
Okay, if you finish my fault, brother. Yeah, so I think the main thing we're doing is outreaching. So communication, reaching out to these students, and not even just the students, but reaching out to the parents, making sure that they have all the resources they need, so that not only can we do our job efficiently, but that they're comfortable within the environment within the space. You'd be surprised, once this COVID hit and the distance learning hit, how many families actually needed Wi-Fi, or how many families actually needed a laptop or computer. So I think outreach is a first and most important step, in that we're continuing to reach out to these students to make sure they're okay. And if they are okay, so how can we keep you engaged with what we're doing? Not only what we're doing, but how can we just keep you mentally in positive spirits? And how can we keep your family engaged with what we're doing? And because a lot of these kids got, it's sad that like their parents are working, so a lot of these kids have to kind of man the house. They have to watch over their siblings. So it's just a lot of things that they need on the back end that maybe not everybody's thinking about, or not everybody's checking in with them in regards to that. So we are taking it to that next level. So we're now, we still are focused on academic. That is our bread and butter. But we are also worried about them socially, mentally, emotionally, and all those other traits as well.
Yeah, I was reviewing our family voucher requests today, right? The request that we have gotten, where we have, sent families $50, right, when they applied for family voucher, and so many of the requests just for basic food, right? Mom saying, listen, I lost my job, I'm applying because I need money for bread, eggs, right, and milk. So now you're 16 years old, you're in the middle of a pandemic, your mom is an essential worker, so she has to go to work, and you have to take care of your 11 and 7-year-old who are also in distance learning. So challenges to say the least. Next question I'll throw out to the group is, what do you see as the greatest need of the young brothers that you are serving?
I would say on the college level, they need that social interaction. Like I think about like some of our guys, like they would go to the well at Sac State and hoop every Friday, which was like a for some of our guys that was a release, right? I think like one of our guys, he's been at IYT from high school through college. He would go every Friday and hoop, and then he would come out of the office and not put his business out there too much, but I'd feed him. Make sure you get a snack or a sandwich. I mean, and realistically was like sometimes that was to get him through, and you catch him kind of putting it to the side. I'm like, man, we'll take care of you, but also to hang out with his boys and laugh in the office. The other part is, some of our guys can't work. There's just not work out there. For the college students, we're finding an increase in requests from our emergency grant, and we're pushing for it. So one thing we need is we just need literally the financial resources to support students to pay things like they got to pay for higher speed internet. They need to get technology. They need to buy school supplies that didn't expect. They got to buy a desk for their home, at school, a legit chair, like things like that they never considered, right? Or partition so they don't have to hear their roommate. You got 2 or 3 college students in a house trying to do this. We have a staff member who's in a house going to college, working, and all of his siblings, there's like 5 or 6 of them are in school. He said it looks like a call center. There's just laptops and kids everywhere. And he's trying to find a quiet space. So he needs some money. He wanted to make sure he can buy some headphones. We don't think about that stuff. And for a lot of us, like, I'll just go get some headphones or wait till next paycheck. For someone's like, that's not coming. And I hope that is clear and direct. And just they need the communication to know that we're here. They need laughter. You know what I'm saying? Like just a space to come to that's not about COVID, not about race, not about school. Just come and just laugh and let Chris give him a nickname and let do the LOL sessions or whatever else, and we need more of that space.
Yeah. Jason, what about you, man? Like in a sense, what are you seeing that your guys need the most?
Yeah, I think Jeff said it best, and I think it translates from college as well to middle school and high school, right? They just need a space. Oftentimes, our students don't have that space to themselves. Like, they're not lucky enough to have their own quiet space where they can pay attention to the teacher or do their homework because there are siblings in the house. There are multiple people in the house. And they're not always going to be on a Zoom call, right? If they are parents or their guardians, they're going to be there doing some type of work. And then again, it goes back to distraction. So when you're distracted at home, your work's not going to get done. So again, yeah, there are distractions within the classroom as well, but at least that's a dedicated space for learning and specifically learning.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine we got power outages right now going on across for ACs. Some of our families don't have ACs in the house, and we have a heat wave. And you go to school during a heat wave, it's 111 degrees in your room. So imagine those challenges. Next question. I know we have about 5 minutes left. How will schooling change because of virtual learning? You all are all right, professional educators. With they're on this call, man. There's 50 year, years, right? Probably just an experience working, and Jeff is taking up half those years. So what is your prediction in how the virtual space, and how classrooms will change or schooling will change because of virtual learning? And Brian, we'll start with Brian, man, because Brian is a pontificator.
Appreciate that, Lynch. I think for me, very similar to healthcare. It may not happen today or tomorrow, but I think we'll start to see more of a hybrid where everybody isn't in school every single day for 5 days a week, right? And nobody, again, as I stated in the beginning, nobody knows the trajectory of the virus, how long it'll last, but there's a very, I shouldn't say there's a very good chance. There's a chance that it could turn into like the flu, right? Where it's something that we experience every year. So what happens if we don't necessarily get a handle on the vaccine? It turns into this annual thing where, like, now how do we figure it out? How do we create the best space for our students to thrive? So going into a hybrid model on a more regular basis could potentially be something that we see. And I think those type of situations, if they do happen, obviously just based on conjecture, we always need to be ready to pivot and be flexible and adaptable to create like an atmosphere for our students to thrive in those stressful situations.
Keelan, what are your predictions?
Yeah, my predictions and truly hope is that we would see greater emphasis on technology involved learning, right, and that there would be a greater emphasis on advanced technology becoming a part of the curriculum we see in school. We see that is where many of our industries are going, right, and so a lot of our students that come from the communities that we serve, right, historically have not had a significant amount of access to technology like laptops. The reality that schools had to do such a mass distribution of laptops, particularly in the communities that we serve, I think speaks volumes to the lack of access to technology that our students have experienced. And so with this new ability to be able to bring technology to the home, I think we see that students can now even develop a desire to grow in their understanding of technology and be better prepared for the future industries that will be available to our students. And so my hope is that we see advancements in technology being involved in our curriculum.
Yeah, exactly. It's needed. The digital skills divide, and what actually our young people's jobs are capable of doing. I read an article a couple of days ago where it talked about someone needed a toothbrush. They were at a hotel, and a robot brought them the toothbrush. Right? Think about just the amount of jobs with the bellhops, right? That are the folks who work at hotels, young people a lot, but also middle-aged folks who support their families. That job is now gone. So last question I want to do, right, I go around to get everybody's opinion is how can the community better support IYT? And we'll start with Chris. Or better support, how can the community better support the work that you are all doing, right, in IYT? And I'll start with Chris to kick us off. You're on mute, brother.
Yeah, nothing but time. When I think of community, my first instinct is parents, because they're the biggest part of our community that we directly serve. I would say probably just, it goes back to communication for me. Just being available to communicate and for us to communicate on behalf of the children that we serve.
That's good. Yeah, thank you. So Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think for us, really just utilizing us, being able to come out and receive the resources that we're providing. I think oftentimes it may be looked over, but we're offering so many things to possibly help out that we just want people to use it.
Yeah, thank you. Brother Jeff?
I would say supporting all of our different initiatives and drives we have, whether it's the 7 Days of Hope or the emergency grants, or we have like year-long programs that are happening. Attending online events, whether you don't know about us, you hear about it, come and pop in. But also being understanding of the reality that this virtual reality is just new. So what IYT may have looked like in the past, it's going to look a little different. But know that we're not changing who we are. We're just changing how we do it. But yeah, you may get barraged with some emails and texts, but just know that every time you donate, it's going directly to the service of our students, right? Whether it's the wellness program or the professional development program, or literally just getting like supplies in kids' hands, food, all of it, every little bit helps, and then just passing the word that we're out here doing good work.
Yep, I agree. Brother Keelan?
Yeah, our students need resources. As I reiterated earlier, we did a backpack drive. We've already started distributing some of the backpacks from our drive, and many of the students that I came across needed simple things like paper and pencils. So the reality is that students need resources, and so for those in our community and in our networks that have resources that can be devoted to students and to further their learning, we need you all. We lean on you all to contribute, and likewise to and if you can and you don't have those things, donating your financial resources for us to be able to then go out and provide what our students need.
Brother Brian?
Yeah, I would say especially with me and both being in Lodi District and Stockton Unified down in Stockton, just being able to get the word out about like what we're doing, because I know we're still fresh, only being 1 year off of being fully embedded in those communities, and half of that has been virtual, right? So I think being able to have people who can tell the stories about things IYT has done in Lodi Unified and Stockton Unified, and continue the word and just building a light of hope about what we're doing down in Stockton, and continuing to grow the program in that way.
Yeah, very well said. And for those of you who don't know, IYT was recently selected as one of the nonprofits of the year, and it's evident by the team we have here today. There's a reason why our brothers have an opportunity. 90% are going to college is because these brothers right here don't quit, right there, and they are the best at what they do. And I'll end with this, a quick story. When I was 11 years old, my dad took us to the juvenile facility in South Stockton, and as we stood on the other side of the fence, right, we looked onto the other side of the fence where the other young people were. He talked about decisions and choices, and how, listen, through life, we all make choices. We all have decisions. Sometimes we make good choices, sometimes we make bad choices, and those choices can affect whether or not you're standing on the other side of the fence. IYT was founded on the mantra that we are going to break the school-to-prison pipeline by helping young men of color get to and through college. But we can't do that without the community. We can't do that without you. 7 Days of Hope is exactly that. It's empowering the community to bring hope to our young people. So when Keelan drops off a backpack to a young brother, there is a pen and there's a paper in it. Because even in the virtual space, you have to take notes. And a lot of Google Chromes, you can't do split screen. Community, right? Facebook family, we need you to support IYT and helping us continue to break the school-to-prison pipeline by helping young men of color get to and through college. Thank you for tuning in on this session. Thank you for Oscar Cervantes, right, for hosting it and for doing all he does, man, on a daily basis. The background, right, of IYT. Thank you and have a great day.